welcome to Things Lucy Reads. I'm Luce and this is a wrap-up video. Today I will be wrapping up books number 14 to 16 and 20 to 22 that I've read so far this year, and if you can't already tell, they are all going to be Star Wars books because I am more than a little bit obsessed right now. Okay, so book number 14, and the first one I'm going to talk about is Rey's Survival Guide by Jason Fry, which is kind of written like a diary that Rey kept while she was on Jakku, and about how she kind of came to be, living on her own there, and it's about how to like scavenge, what to look for, what not to look for, how much certain things will get you with Unkar Plutt, and who to avoid and who's friendly, and kind of stuff like that. And it's just really, really great. There's a schematic of the AT-AT and like all the different parts of it, which was really interesting. And there's one in here also for the Star Destroyer. And yeah, it was just really fascinating to find out some more things about Jakku and also about Rey as a character. She's like really, really adorable, and she really likes plants, and she like draws all the pictures in this herself. And it kind of explains about how she came to be able to fly ships and how she came to speak binary, which is the language of droids. And yeah, it's just really, really interesting, and I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And yeah, the next book I read is Before the Awakening by Greg Rucka, which has 3 short stories in it, one about Finn, one about Rey, and one about Poe. And it's like their lives immediately prior to the film, how they came to be in the positions that they were at the start of the film. So for Finn, it's kind of how he doesn't really fit in with the other 3 members of his like little squadron that he's in charge of. And they get along okay, but he doesn't really quite fit. And he wants to be friends with them, but it's kind of actively discouraged, and he's just, you can see him starting to think that maybe this isn't all it's cracked up to be, and that he doesn't want to like be there anymore. And so that kind of provides some backstory for his defection. The next story is about Rey, and it's about how one day when she's scavenging, she comes across this ship that no one has like seen before because it's been buried by the sand. And instead of scavenging it for parts, she starts fixing it, and she meets these 2 other people who kind of like help her, and then it all goes belly up basically. And hers is actually kind of sad, and I feel really sad for her because she doesn't deserve any of that. But I think Poe's story was my favorite. It explains how he went from being a commander in the New Republic Navy to a pilot for the Resistance, and it's basically because he thinks the First Order is a big deal and something that they should be caring about, but all of his superiors are like, nope, no, we can't do anything, it will violate the treaty, we have to wait for them to do something first. And Poe is just like, that is bullshit, and I'm not going to stand for that, and kind of disobeys orders to go off and do something that is the right thing to do, but he's been told not to do it. And then after that, he's like headhunted by Leia and joins the Resistance, and it's just really, really great. And I'm not gonna lie, I am a lot in love with him. I can't deny it. I am. And yeah, if you get the chance to pick this up, you definitely should. It's really, really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I'm going to talk about is Shuttered Empire, also by Greg Rucka. I'm very annoyed by this cover because, as you can see, it's got Chewbacca and Han and even Lando and Leia and Luke and C-3PO and R2-D2 and some Ewoks, and it isn't about any of them. It is actually about a rebellion pilot called Shara Bay, who, if you don't know, is Poe Dameron's mother, and she is so cool, and I'm also a lot in love with her. So it follows 4 like missions that she ran for the rebellion, or the New Republic as it is now called. And we meet Kes Dameron, who is Poe's dad and Shara's husband. And, she is really committed to the cause and, thinks that they're fighting for something worthwhile, but she also wants to stop fighting so that she can, spend some time with her family. At this point, Poe is 2 years old, and she has barely seen him because of all this fighting that she's been doing. And, everyone kind of understands that, she wants to leave, at least for a bit, because if you don't ever have the chance to, be a family with your family, then what are you fighting for? And it was really cool. The art is gorgeous. I'm so annoyed that they didn't actually put Shara on the cover of this trade paperback because she is beautiful. And she's on the cover of all the single issues, so why not put her on the trade? It makes no sense. But yeah, I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I knocked 1 star off because it was a little bit disjointed. There were like time jumps in between each issue and each mission, and it felt like that wasn't really kind of explained. You just went straight from the end of one into the start of another, and there was nothing in between. And I just would have liked it to be a little bit more linear. I also would have liked Kes to be in it a little bit more and to see more interactions between him and Shara, and also at least one panel of Baby Poe. I mean, he's not in it at all, and I'm like, come on, just give me something. But they didn't, and I'm very sad. And I'm really upset that there's only 1 volume of this, because I could read infinite volumes about Shara Bay and Kes Dameron and Baby Poe, and I would have really liked to see the story kind of go on a little bit further, because she dies when Poe is 8, and there's no canon information about how it happened. So I would really like to see kind of that explored, and they're probably not going to write anything more about her, but I really wish they would, because she's a really great character. Anyway, this is definitely worth picking up if you can. Probably get the single issue so that Shara is actually on the cover and you don't have just these randoms that are only mentioned. I mean, they're in it, but only for like 1 issue each. It's kind of stupid. But anyway, yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely worth it, and Shara Bay is awesome. Okay, and then the next book that I read, which is number 20, is another graphic novel, and it is Princess Leia by Mark Waid, illustrated by Terry Dodson. This bridges the gap between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and explains what Leia was doing in that time. And what she does is, following the destruction of her home planet of Alderaan, she kind of goes around from world to world, kind of collecting all of the stray Alderaanians that are in the galaxy, various places, and kind of, saying we need to stick together if we want to preserve our culture. Our home world is gone, all we have now is each other. And it's really, really good. There's also some flashbacks in here from Leia's childhood, and interactions with her and her adopted father, Bail Organa, which were really great, and I really enjoyed those. And yeah, I have no real analysis to give of this. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I love it. I really love Princess Leia, and I had absolutely no problems with this, and I thought it was excellent. Okay, the 21st book that I read this year, and the next one I'm going to talk about, is The Force Awakens novelization by Alan Dean Foster. There are a couple of extra scenes in this, some with Leia, and it explains how Poe got off Jakku, sort of. So that was good, and I did enjoy it. I mean, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was pretty good. It just wasn't quite mind-blowing. A lot of the dialogue is different, which means that some of my favourite moments from the film weren't actually in this in the way that they were in the movie, because the dialogue was different. But it didn't temper my enjoyment too much. And yeah, pretty much the only criticism I have of this is that all we got for the interrogation of Poe Dameron by Kylo Ren was 2 words. And I'm like, come on, man, I am in this for the Poe Dameron angst, help me out here. And he didn't, and I'm just like, but it's okay, because that is what the fanfiction is for. So, I'm actually not missing out, so it's all fine. Yeah, pretty decent, 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, and then the next book I'm going to talk about, the 22nd book that I've read this year, is one that I haven't actually finished yet, but I'm going to finish it today, and I'm going to give it 5 stars. And that is Ships of the Galaxy, which is written by Benjamin Harper. This is exactly what it says on the tin. It is kind of a description of all of the ships that we see in all 7 of the Star Wars films. And then in the back, it has got like blueprints of some of the ships. So that's the Millennium Falcon, and it's got the Imperial Shuttle as well. I'm going to hold this like this so I can do this properly. The Star Destroyer there, the X-Wing there, the TIE Fighter, and then the Imperial TIE Bomber. So yeah, this is just a really cool book, definitely worth it for $2.95, which is what I paid. And it's also really helpful because I don't know anything about like this kind of stuff about the Star Wars universe. I've never been in the fandom until The Force Awakens came out, so like I'm just like in the dark for so much of this. Like I said, I haven't finished this yet, but I know that I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars because it is exactly what I wanted it to be. So yeah, those are all of the Star Wars books that I've read so far this year. There are going to be many, many more as the year goes on, probably. Yeah, that is all I have for you for this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, everyone.